Certainly, that's a big part of it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think realistically, this was a case that could have been winnable by the defense if they
Mm.
pursued a different strategy, if they focused on the areas where Michael Cohen was not as corroborated. But they really haven't had a focused presentation. They haven't tried to focus the jury on the issues as as succinctly as Norm just put them. They've really been all over the place, scorched earth, attacking not just Michael Cohen, but Stormy Daniels, contesting everything. The fact of an encounter in a hotel room, the fact of the hush money payments, and so on. I think that we're going to get more of that scorched earth, attack everything approach in the closing arguments. And if that's the case, I do think there's going to be a conviction here. Really, there needs to be an entirely different approach, and I'm not sure that Donald Trump's willing to let his defense attorneys pursue a strategy that has a chance of winning in this case.
Yeah, I mean, Norm, this could be just a massive week with huge political consequences for the former president. What's the likelihood we will see a conviction here? And how could that play out?
Well,
yeah.
Renato Mariotti is one of our most experienced trial lawyers, Jim.
Yeah.
And he has hit the nail on the head. This was a winnable case. It still is not a slam dunk, in my view, having been there every day for the prosecution. I think the odds of a conviction are somewhere upwards of 80%. The defense, in part because of this scattershot approach, the defense is not really gunning for an acquittal. That's out of reach here. What they're hoping for is one angry juror, that there's one juror who either feels such sympathy for Trump or just for whatever reason does not follow the evidence and the law, the holdout.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying for, just one.
And Renato, I mean, that's been my kind of question throughout all of this is might we have just one juror who perhaps didn't share everything during this jury selection process, and whammo, it's just that's going to be it. That's how this case is going to play out. What's your sense of it? I mean, the other thing to think about, too, is that they've had several days now to mull all of this over and perhaps forget some of the fireworks that we saw playing out towards the end of testimony.
That's right. If I was in the defense team, I would be focused on a hung jury, particularly with two lawyers on the jury. I would be making legalistic arguments to those two lawyers, trying to get a technical win here, where I don't essentially there's no conviction, and I would say a lack of a conviction I would spin as a win if I was on their team. They're not doing that. That's not the approach that they've taken. It'll be interesting to see if they switch that approach at closing argument. But I will say, with somebody as well-known and controversial as Donald Trump, getting a unanimous verdict on anything can be a challenge. And that is perhaps the dynamic that is the most uncertain. I mean, no one can predict what's going on in the heads of ordinary people who happen to be on this jury. And there very well could be a hung jury. And I think if that occurs, you could expect a lot of defense argument and spinning that as a victory.
All right, guys, we're all going to be watching. Big week. Norm and Renato, thanks very much. Great to talk to both of you, as always. Really appreciate it. Still to come this hour, bringing comfort and support to veterans. That's the goal of Paws of War. And my next guest knows this firsthand. Take a look right there. There's Angelique.